Finish!
All right, Christian, rise up. We could be here all night. Christian, Christian was an amazing athlete, as Coach Heinley will attest to, and the rest of the defensive staff. This kid literally played every defensive position for us over the last 2 seasons. But more impressive to me was watching him grow as a man, to be honest with you. Watching him get his grades up, watching him be disciplined, watching him do what we asked him to do on the field. Coach, I'll play defensive line. Coach, I'll play linebacker. Coach, I'll play corner. Coach, I'll play safety. And he can legitimately play all those positions. He's that good of an athlete. But again, watching him develop as a human being was even more enjoyable for me. And I'm going to miss him a lot. Christian Arnold. Mad at Luke last year for not playing, because I saw him around campus, and he's a really good wrestler, extremely good athlete, and so I really wanted him to play last year. But at least we got him to come out this year. You could make a strong argument that Luke was the best player on our defense. We talked a lot about it in the defensive staff meeting room, as far as who would get this and who would get that. And we had, as you know, as a defense, we had a ton of good players. We didn't have just one guy kind of make 120 tackles. We didn't have one player get 10 interceptions. All our stats were pretty even across our whole defense. Which if you're a coach of defense, you know that's a very good thing. Because one guy goes down, you can replace another guy. And Luke was one of those standout players. He didn't have 120 tackles, but by the end of the season, he was recognized by coaches that we played and other coaches in our league as one of the best linebackers in the North Hills League. Luke Boyd. Again, he's one of these kids that's reliable, he's consistent, he works hard, and he's going to be extremely successful no matter what he does in college. Daniel Sherman. Dominic Duran. I don't think I called Dominic the entire season. Dom had an amazing year. This kid, I really have a lot of respect for him. He was a senior. He was probably planning on coming in and starting, and that didn't really happen for him, but he came in when his number was called, when Cody went down, and he had 2 or 3 of the most crucial games you could have at center. As you know, center on the offensive line is one of the most important positions, and Dom came in and did what we asked him to do and held his own, and I'm so proud of what he did, because he never once complained, never said, Coach, why don't I play anymore? Coach, can I move to guard? Can I move to tackle? He accepted his role, and when he got a chance, he made the most of it. Dom Duran. Fairness. Noah had an amazing year as our punter. I don't know how many times he pinned the opponent inside the 20-yard line, but we asked him to sky punt, he sky punted. We asked him to red zone punt, he red zone punt. We asked him to do danger punts, all different kinds of kicks. He did it. He came in and did a great job for us. He also had a great year at receiver. And personally, again, like Christian, one of those kids that just had a really good year as far as his growing up and doing what I asked him to do in the classroom. And watching him mature as a man was extremely fun for me. And watching him have the success that he had, taking the ball was also fun. Noah Fairness. Again, this is a team of really smart seniors, really smart kids. We had 21 kids out of 64 on the Scholar Athlete Award. That's 33%. Okay, give these kids a hand. Michael's one of the smartest kids. Michael's extremely smart. Again, he split carries at running back. He came in, he had some crucial drives. He had some periods in some games where he basically carried us. Charlie was playing both ways and needed a break. Michael would come in for 3-4 carries at a time, move the chains, get some first downs. When you needed a first down, Michael was up to the task. Michael's a little leader. He's a kid that I see having a super bright future. I don't mean little. I gave him a hard hard time for his height all year, but he knows I love him. I can't wait to see where Michael goes and where he goes to college. We've had a lot of conversations in the last 4 or 5 weeks about it, and I'm just really excited to see what Michael does in the future.
Good job, Michael!
Adam Gadbach. Again, Adam was in my weight class. I talked him into coming out for football this year. I'm super glad he did. This kid, again, didn't miss. Did everything I asked him to do. It was super fun to have out there. He was a wide receiver on the varsity level. And again, never complained about playing time, never said coach this, coach that. Just accepted his role and did as good as he could at it. And I'm super proud of him. Adam Gadbach. Blake Gardner. Blake was one of our standout wide receivers. Again, if he wasn't behind a couple of superstars, Blake would have had a lot more touches. But again, no complaints. No complaints. He just basically said, Coach, when I get my chance, I'm going to make plays. And he came in certain varsity games, and he did make plays. And he made a ton of them on the JV level. And super proud of him. Blake Gardner. Gutierrez. Josh is one of the toughest kids on our team. There'd be practices where I'd look over at Josh and he could barely walk, and I'd call him over and I'd be like, Josh, how's your hamstring? And he'd look at me and he'd be like, Coach, I'm good. No problems, no question asked. Josh played defensive line for us, did a really good job. One of the quickest first moves I've seen off the ball in the last 2 years since I've been here. And I'm just super proud of him. Josh Gutierrez. Jason Harmon. Going back to 2 years ago when I took this job, one of the wiser questions you want to ask before you take a head coaching job is, do I have a quarterback? And when I asked that question to some of the administrators and some of the athletic directors, the answer was absolutely a yes. And the first time I met him, I was just super impressed by how even-keeled he was. One of Jason's best qualities, he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. As you know, when you play football, you make mistakes, you can't show it. You have to move on to the next play, just like in any other sport. You have to forget about it and move on. And when you make a good play, you don't want to get too excited and it causes you to make a bad play after that. So that's going to carry him a long way. His even-keeled nature. Obviously, I could go on and on about the stats that he's had over the last 2 years. I guess the bottom line is I don't want to waste everybody's time. This is the greatest quarterback in Canadian football history. Trace Hobbs. Probably overcome more injuries in a 2-year span than anyone on our team. Again, I could go on and on about his stats, but just overcoming adversity, watching him deal with that, and I know how valuable it is because I've been through some adversity myself. So going forward, okay, what he's experienced over the last 2 years, overcoming what he's overcome, and then having the success that he's had, is going to prove to be successful no matter what he does from this point forward. As long as he continues to work hard. Again, bottom line, you're looking at one of the best, probably the top 2 receivers in Canadian football history. Some of you guys, parents and people, you guys don't understand what these kids go through on a daily basis with just everything with their lives. And so I have the privilege of knowing a lot of what they go through. And Trace has been through a lot, and I'm just super proud to watch him persevere and overcome what he's overcome and be what he's been. So great job, Trace. Roast Avery right now. I think he might roast me a little bit later, but that's okay. I'm not going to roast you right now. Again, when I got hired, okay, I came in and I met Avery, and obviously this kid has a lot of potential. And I remember the first thing I did when I got here is I interviewed every single player that was interested in playing football. And I could just tell how well-spoken Avery was. That's what most impresses me about Avery. Obviously, he's a phenomenal athlete, and go on and on about his athletic accolades. But what he's done on and off the field, the ambassador he is for Canyon High School, the way other kids look up to him, the things he says to the media and the press. He's a very well-spoken kid. This is a very smart young man you're looking at right here, and he has a very bright future. It's not going to matter where he goes next year. We have a lot of seniors that are going to go on and play. I know it can be concerning. It's a frustrating process with the recruiting process. But a lot of our kids, Avery included, no matter where they go, they're going to be successful because they have a good head on their shoulders, they have good families, they're well-spoken, they're smart, and I can't wait to see what he does. Avery Jones. One of the things I most liked about watching Bo was watching him lift weights. Bo was hands down the strongest kid on the team. Even Avery, I think, would attest to that. It's probably really close, but I think Bo probably edged him out by just a little bit. Bo had an amazing 2 years here while I was here. One of our standout offensive linemen. Again, a super tough kid, played through injuries. Just had a great year. I can't wait to see what he does. Again, one of the smartest kids on the team. I don't know if a lot of you know, but Bo's writing a book. You better let me read it. Okay, congratulations, Bo. Great. Garrett McDowell. Garrett had a really good year. Again, didn't quite probably get as many touches as he wanted at receiver, but came in and made some huge plays for us in huge games. Super fast athlete. One of the more fun kids to be around on the team. He's always smiling, always giving everybody a hard time, keeping practice light, and that's what I really appreciate about Garrett. Great job, Garrett. Ollie Knox. Ollie had a really good year. Ollie and I had some really good talks over the course of this year. I'm not going to share those with you right now, but Ollie and I have a really good connection as far as what path he's on. I can't wait to see what he does. He's doing a really good job, and you know, things didn't quite go his way this year as far as playing time or where he wanted to play, but again, he didn't complain. He said, "Coach, I'll do what you asked me to do," and if he continues to have that same attitude, he's going to be very successful. Ollie Knox. Sidman Wintran. Sidman got so much better over the course of the season. Sidman came in and he again, yes sir, no sir, he's a kid that's super respectful. By the end of the season, he was burning our defensive backs in on goal line one-on-one drills, and I was like, who's that? And Sid was out making plays, and it was just really fun. I told him towards the end of the season, I called him over and I said, "Sid, do you realize how much better you've gotten this year?" And he shook his head. He said, "Yes, sir, I do." I felt kind of bad because I had just noticed as the weeks gone by, he just works and works and works and gets better, and just fights at his craft to get better, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Sid had a great year. Sidman Wintran. Chase had a really good year. He was a returning inside linebacker for us. All joking aside, yeah, Chase is one of our best athletes. His lateral speed and quickness was second to none. His aggressiveness we needed at middle linebacker. He had a really good year, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Chase Parker. Clay Payne. Very good athlete, the best free safety in the North Hills League, extremely good athlete. I don't know how many interceptions he had, but he had probably 5 this year, 4 this year. Going back to combined last year and this year, he had about 10 interceptions, returning starter. Could have played offense for us, but we had a lot of other kids that were playing those positions, and a lot of these kids, like I said, just don't complain. They accepted their role, and the reason you have your first ever CIF championship is because these kids accepted their role and they dominated at that role. And I told that to them time and time again at the beginning of the season. It doesn't matter what your role is, okay? Accept your role and be very good at it, and this team will be very good. And Elliot did that. He did it very well, and I can't wait to see where he's playing football next year. Elliot Payne. Mason Proctor. Again, personally, no offense to anyone else, personally, one of my favorite kids on the team. He's just one of those kids that's happy. He loves to be around. He loves to work hard. He works really hard in practice. He just did a really good job for us on the offensive line. Again, if he wasn't behind a bunch of superstars on the offensive line, he would have got some more playing time. But again, no complaints. Really enjoyable kid. Worked really hard, and he's going to be successful. Mason Proctor. Eric Quintana. Eric's another one of those kids I had in my weights class last year, and I was watching him lift, and I'm like, why in the world is this kid not playing football? And I talked him into coming out for football. It wasn't real hard. He said, Coach, I'm in. I want to play. He's aggressive. He's physical. He's a hitter. He's tough. He's everything you'd want in a football player. Unfortunately, he had a knee injury that kind of shortened his season a little bit. But when he was in there, before he got hurt, he was doing a really good job, and I'm super proud of him. And thanks for coming out, Eric. And Elliot, and got the privilege to work with this guy every single day, to watch him make the plays he did and have the practices he had, and to work hard and get his footwork right. And he's a really good athlete. Again, ton of interceptions. Him and Chris basically held the corner position down all year. I can count on like 1 or 2 fingers how many times they got beat the whole season. Just really, really strong improvement from last year to this year. Last year he was good, but this year he was great. That goes for the whole secondary as well, in my opinion. And this is a kid who also is going to be playing college football somewhere next year. We just got to figure out where. Josh Lamont. Blake Suttle. Blake was definitely one of the toughest kids on the team. The thing I love about Blake is that he would basically run through a wall for any of his teammates in this room or any of the coaches. If I asked him to run through that wall right now, he would. He's just that kind of kid. He's that kind of player. You give him a task, he's up for it. It doesn't matter who he's going against. He just had a really good year. Ton of sacks, ton of tackles for loss. The stats go on and on. But again, just his toughness and the attitude he brought to the rest of the defense. I feel like the defense really benefited from Blake's attitude. Blake Suttle. Charlie Trainer. I knew when I met Charlie last year at our introduction interview, or my beginning interview, that we had a special young man on our hands. He's a leader on and off the field. Obviously, his year, his stats speak for themselves. But the improvement that he made from last year to this year, again, last year he was good. This year he was great in a lot of different ways. Charlie was our only real two-way starter, as far as a guy that basically never came off the field between kickoff return, punt return, defense, offense. We took him off from time to time to give him a break. But this kid played through injuries, his thigh, his ankle, his knee, everything. As you know, running back is a pretty tough position, and I couldn't be more proud of him. He has a super bright future. He has one of the highest GPAs on our team. He's definitely going to be playing college football next year. I can't wait to see where he goes. Charlie Trainer. And last but certainly not least, Noah White. He's being shy right now, but you're looking at the best tight end in the North Hills League. him. Again, Noah's one of those kids I could stand up here for 10 minutes and tell stories about him. Just kept everything light, had a lot of fun. Really just appreciated all of his effort. Amazing athlete, definitely could have played defense for us, but we just didn't need him to. Tremendous athlete, Noah White. Alright, so if we could have a standing ovation for our seniors, please. Century Conference, Crestview League, North Hills League, all league certificates. So the following players, come on up and get your all league certificates. I should explain a little bit about how the all league certificates are voted on. So basically, the coaches from the league meet, we all nominate players, and the other coaches vote who the players are who should win the award. So my job is to nominate our guys, and the other coaches have selected the following players for the all-league voting. Offensive Player of the Year in the North Hills League, Jason Harmon. Jason had, again, like I talked about earlier, had an unbelievable year. He had about 6,000 all-purpose yards, over 55 touchdowns. Had an unbelievable year statistically, but more importantly was a leader of our football team, one of many leaders, and we appreciate everything that he did.
Attaboy, Jason!
As voted on by the coaches, Defensive Player of the Year, Avery Jones. Have representatives as the Defensive Player of the Year and the Offensive Player of the Year in our league. I am very proud of these two boys. Tackles for loss, sacks, had a ton of tackles from the defensive line position, which when you're getting double teamed every play, it's kind of hard to have over 50 tackles, which he had, which again is a testament to his athleticism and splitting double teams and making tackles, regardless of how many people are trying to block him. The reality is, nobody could block this guy all year, and he deserves this award. Great job, Avery. First team all league awards. The first one is our running back, Charlie Trainer. Charlie was our best running back. Again, our starting strong safety, our Mr. Everything really. Punt return, kick return, led our team in all-purpose yards. Him and Jason. And again, without these guys, it would not have been quite as successful as year. Charlie Trainer. First team, all league, Trace Hobbs. Trace had over 70 catches, over 1,000 yards. He had 10 touchdowns. He was our Iron Man this year after last year suffering injuries. Just having an unbelievable season statistically. Made about 15 of the craziest catches I've seen in 1 year in a long time. So I'd say of his 70 catches, 12 or 15 of them were maybe some of the best catches I've seen in a number of years. And not to mention a lot of the catches were on key first downs or touchdowns, which helped us either A, go ahead in a game, or B, seal a game. And when you needed a touchdown or you needed a big play, look no further than number 8. Along those same lines, Noah White, come on up. Security blanket all year. Noah from the tight end position, Trace from the wide receiver position. Noah had an unbelievable season as well, statistically. But more importantly, more impressive to me was his blocking. I'm not an offensive line coach. I do not claim to be. But what I saw on film from this kid, he was probably one of our best offensive linemen from the tight end position. Which is not a knock on our offensive line. It's just that this guy is that good. He finishes blocks. He moves his feet, he stays on blocks. Many of his blocks were touchdown blocks. And that's the part that's not so, you don't get a ton of credit for making good blocks because it's not really a statistic in the books. but he was one of our best blockers at any position and a huge reason why we were so successful. Noah White. And first team all-league, Josh Simon. Josh had over 18 pass deflections. I believe he had 5 or 6 interceptions. School record, yeah, I mean, he's one of the best defensive backs in Canyon football history. Again, I talked a little bit about him earlier. Yeah, go ahead, give him a hand. Again, him and Chris Church has held it down all year at the corner position. Just had unbelievable seasons. Chris didn't quite have as many stats as Josh, but again, that's because they weren't throwing Chris's way. And in my opinion, the greatest compliment you can get as a DB is they don't throw your direction. So this is not a knock on Chris. Chris had an unbelievable season, but Josh had an unbelievable season as well. Both these guys deserve this award. Josh Simon. Second team, on to our second team all-league awards. Blake Suttle, come on up. The first place team in the league gets the most selections. We were the third place team in the league for reasons I don't want to talk about. But Blake would have been a first team all-league selection. But Blake had an unbelievable season. Was definitely one of the best linebackers in the conference. Not to mention our league, but the entire conference, the 18 conference. And he's also going to play college football somewhere next year. I can't wait. Blake Sutton. Christian Ariza, second team all-league. Christian was definitely recognized amongst all the coaches in the conference and the league as one of the best athletes, overall athletes. We just had to figure out where to put him, and the rest is history. Christian led us in tackles for loss. He actually led us in sacks. He was one of our tackles for loss. And he had an unbelievable season, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Christian Ariza. The best linebackers in the conference, Luke Boyd. Again, his second team all-league, but easily could have gotten first team all-league and could have gotten defensive player of the year. He was definitely recognized by all the coaches as one of the top performers. Like I said, we had a great defense. We did not have great individuals. As far as like certain guys leading our team, and statistically, we had a bunch of guys that statted kind of evenly, which is a testament to our defensive scheme and Coach Heinley, and it's also a testament to these guys and how balanced they are, and how well all of them play together, which is why we were successful. Luke Boyd. Now on to our all CIF awards. So again, this is the way these awards work for all CIF. It's very similar to all league. I nominate players, and I was extremely happy with how we did this year with all CIF. To put it in perspective for you, last year Garden Grove won the Southern Division CIF Championship, and they got 9 players on this list. This year we got 11 players on this list. Yeah! Offensive Player of the Year, all CIF, was Jason Harmon. And then I might as well call this guy up next because I'm going to talk about them together. Charlie Trainer, get on up here. Charlie, defensive back or running back. We kind of decided that running back would be the place for him. He was recognized as the best running back in our CIF Southern Division. He was a unanimous selection, just like Jason was, as was another gentleman that I'll be calling up here in a minute. Unanimous means that all the coaches agreed that hands down these guys were the best deservers, the best recipients deserving of the award. Charlie Trainer. Wide receiver, Trace Hobbs. Trace, again, not to be redundant, but just an unbelievable season. One of the best high school receivers I've ever seen at any level. Super impressive, just the catches he makes, the concentration that he has, not to mention his touchdown blocks that he gets blocking downfield. Last year we struggled a little bit, not necessarily Trace specifically, but we struggled a little bit blocking. This year I was extremely happy and proud how much better we blocked, which drastically affected our running game and sprung running backs like Charlie. Instead of getting 10, 12-yard gains, they're getting 25-yard gains. So that was a big deal, and Trace was a big part of it. Trace Hobbs. I'm going to ask you all to stay up here because you guys might want to get a picture of all of them when it's done. Noah White, come on up. Again, there's not technically a tight end position, so I got Noah on as an offensive lineman because I felt that he was just that good at blocking. Luke Boyd, linebacker, come on up. I'll see you there. Luke again separated himself all through the season, but really late in the season emerged as hands down the best middle linebacker in our division for CIF. I personally enjoyed watching him blow people up on kickoff team as the season went on. Luke took it upon himself and took pride in running down a kickoff team and basically destroying somebody, which was really fun to watch. The other team was definitely afraid of Luke as he ran down, and watching his hits was a lot of fun. Luke Boyd. Another linebacker, Blake Suttle. In our CIF Southern Division, Blake made so many plays in the backfield, tackles for loss, sacks, knockdowns, hurries. We had a lot of pressure. Again, a testament to Coach Heinley and what he did with our defense. But he had a lot of good players, and Blake and Luke and these guys were a big part of it.
Good job, Blake!
Josh Lamont. Elliot Payne. These two guys were the leaders of our secondary. Did an unbelievable job all year. Both returning starters. They were selected again by the coaches in the division. Not just myself, nominated by me, but selected by my peers as two of the best defensive backs in CIF. So Josh Lamont and Elliot Payne. And this is kind of the one I'm most proud of because we got all three of our starting defensive linemen on the All-CIF list. Avery Jones, unanimous. As many of you know, a good defense is not a good defense without a good defensive line. And these three gentlemen were in the backfield of every backfield we played. Tackles for loss, sacks, hurries, knockdowns. Watching them get to the opposing team's quarterback was a joy for our staff and for our team. And in our scheme, the three down guys have to gobble up blocks and get double teamed and shoot gaps and split double teams and take on basically the other team's offensive line in order for the other guys like Luke and Blake and Josh and Elliot and all these other guys to make more tackles. So it's not necessarily the most alluring job on the defense, but they did it better than anyone else in the CIF Southern Division.
Good job, Grego!
Of your All-CIF award winners, now's your chance.
Hey, good job, all you guys. Come on.
All right, up to introduce our most inspirational award is Coach Shorts.
So the most inspirational award. This player, sometimes when you think about football players, you think about, size, speed, strength, all the things they have. This player doesn't necessarily have all those things, but he certainly makes up for it in his heart and in the amount of effort he puts towards everything. He's a stickler for specifics. He's a great technician. He's worked his butt off all year, and he's just been an inspiration. I'm his biggest fan. I pushed him all year. He started off on JV, and I said to him about a third of the way through the year, I said, hey, you're a varsity player, and we need you on varsity. And I'll tell you what, his hard work, his effort and technique paid off. He made a lot of plays, made a lot of big plays for us. He was consistent every time, all the time, when some of our starters needed a break. And I couldn't be more proud of the kid. And when he wasn't on the field, he was on the sidelines getting everybody pumped up with his signature saying, finish. When you have a t-shirt made after your saying. So with that, Manuel, come on up.
The next part is the coach's recognition by the Canyon football players.
You know what? It's 20 after
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we did ours on the wonderful, where is he? Coach Allen. Us running backs will always be excited to see him at 3:45, given that practice starts at 3:15. I love Coach because you can have the best game of your life and he'll still give you a C+ for a running back grade. Because you blocked for 2.8 seconds when you should have blocked for 2.9 seconds. I'll never forget when we were 13 weeks into the season, coming off of a win from Elmo. Note that since we're so late in the season, most of us are already broken. Weak ankles, broken fingers, etc. Here we are, pretty excited to start practice, and we see Coach bring out the bags. Now, when Coach brings out the bags, us running backs know it's not going to be a good day. So he lined up the bags, and he created a drill where at the end of the drill, you had to hurdle over a bag, and he hits our feet. So it could work on our balance. Let me tell you, there were 7 running backs. All 7 of us face planted into the ground. But in all honesty, Coach Allen, thank you for being a role model to me and Chuck for the past few years. Thank you for being one of the best coaches that I've ever known. And thank you for always inspiring me before every game saying, tonight's your night. You have taught me to always better my best in practice as well as in the game. Coach Allen, your constant advice not only shaped me as a football player, but also applies to my life outside of football. My goal in life is to be as polished as the top of your head. And as happy in life as you are when you talk about Georgia. Coach Allen, thank you for being amazing.
It's not that shiny.
Talk about Coach Perry, probably the cockiest coach on our team. Followed by the cockiest player, so that's a good duo. Coach Perry, through Kenyon's history of switching around a lot of coaches, I think the wide receivers had, from my class, 6 different wide receiver coaches. So I was really fortunate to have Coach Perry as my last and probably my favorite wide receiver coach. Just him being an individual, seeing him walk down the field thinking he's a new transfer or something. He's a coach. Just being able to have him teach us this handshake I'm not allowed to share with you guys because it's a little controversial. He himself helped me a lot more on my more mental aspect of the game. Because he played quarterback in high school and he was cut short with a torn ACL in his fifth game of the season, fifth week. It was bad. Me being plagued with injury, I've felt sympathy for him a lot, and he was able to share some wisdom with me. I remember at one practice, I was kind of just complaining about injuries like I usually do, and he told me the story. I didn't know he tore his ACL, and he kind of I don't think he knew he did this, but he kind of took a father role in my career at Canyon at the end of the senior year. And he brought me up and told me to kind of suck it up, but in a way, I don't know how he just shared a story with me, and I could tell that he really wanted his senior year to be ended up like mine, and I felt like he kind of lived through me a little bit. That's why he's my favorite coach, and a great father figure for me this past year. Thank you.
Hello? Okay. I'm Christian, and I'm going to be talking about Coach Shorts today. Honestly, getting the Defensive Line of the Year award, if, the guys in our grade, since freshman year, if you guys would have told me that I would have gotten that award this year, I would have just called you crazy. Because, I started playing wide receiver freshman year, and looking at me, I'm not the chubbiest or biggest D-lineman around. But honestly, the reason why I had so much success this year was because of Coach Shorts. I like to think all the time, my dad tells me all the time that I like to think that I'm always right when, most of the time I'm not. Actually, a lot of the time I'm not. And, for example, I would always mess up and go in the wrong gap and the right gap, but Coach Shorts would always look at me after the play, he's like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Oh, I thought I could have had him, from the backside. I swear I can do it." He's like, "All right, well, when you're good enough to do it, you let me know." And I was like, "All right, Coach." I like to say I proved it, but it was really, this was a fun year. The D-line was a really unique and elite unit, so to say. The defense can say that, I think, and I'm really happy that I had Coach as much because of my coach this year. Thank you, Coach Shorts.
All right, so I'm going to be talking about Coach Rory. Coach Rory, very few times you get to say that a coach is, like a friend of yours. I've been with him for 2 years now. Every day of practice is always fun. We always have a good time. He's a coach that's always going to go to bat for you. He's always going to have your back. No matter what play I just made, he's always going to encourage me when I get to the sideline. And he's always going to trust me with the ball in my hands with, late in the games, which really means a lot. Just a little bit about us quarterbacks. Every day in the warm-ups, we do this weird warm-up, which is arguably probably more tiring than the conditioning circuit, which sounds crazy, but you can ask any of the quarterbacks. I don't know what makes it so tiring, but it is, and then that's normally when special teams is going on, and so when we do our little warm-up, we're exhausted, so we just kind of, chill while special teams is going on. Monday is always, we go over the game plan, and it's more about football. But then, after that, Tuesday and stuff, we start talking about movies with Coach, fantasy football. Coach Perry's over with us, and even though Coach Perry, Chris alluded to him getting hurt, still one of the greatest quarterbacks in Canyon history. So that's pretty cool to have him there. So we're just hanging out. It's a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with you, Coach. Thank you.
I'm here to talk about linebacker coach Trader, and especially coming to this season and being off of a year of football, I was honestly doubting myself a lot. I didn't know what I could do, how I could get back into this game. And when I was thinking, who's going to coach me on it? And I see him, I played with him freshman year. I don't really remember him coaching anything running backs at the time, I think freshman year. And, but then, we hit it off right off the bat with his stories, his little stories. He brings all the linebackers in. He's like one of the greatest, funniest guys I've ever met. And I think that means like the most to me. And he could switch it on and off, like straight to football, the game plan, everything, like what holes to fill, what you look out for the running backs, the quarterbacks, who's doing what and everything. And especially me getting the most improved award, I think that goes a lot to show to this coach right here. And I cannot thank him much. Thank him so much for just being who he is today and such a great person. Thank you.
All right, hey guys. Blake, we're talking about Coach Pat. You guys know him as Coach G. Well, I played football for most of my life, and I had a lot of different coaches through that time. Go from team to team as you grow up, and there's only a few coaches who've been able to really connect with me as a person. And Coach Pat, he's been here as seniors our whole high school career, and he's one of the biggest role models in my life. He always tells me if he had a son that it'd be me, and he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. He's one of my best friends I've ever had. He's helped me to set goals in life and accomplish them. He's helped me to set goals on the field and accomplish them. He's one of the best people I've ever met. And so thank you for being a part of our lives, and thank you for especially being a part of our
Coach, get up here. Please. I'm sorry, Coach. Okay, so first off, just for the record, I can indeed eat beef. Alright, so since we have it out of the way, I'd like to share a few words about my offensive line coach, Coach Senior. As a coach that has been coaching for over 44 years, he definitely knows what he's doing. It's the little things he would say to us after every practice. The lineman and I like to think of him as the Papa Bear of the O-line, and us being the little bear cubs. Coach Rogas Sr. dealt with us all year. He has a lineman stand together in a group with them that when they are not during practice because the skill position players have a bad influence on us. Which him being as I said, the Papa Bear figure that he is, we obviously listen to him. This is the last year Coach Rogas Sr. has been coaching. And I've been blessed to be having been coached under him. For the past 2 years. Also, that's been said all night, but it's his last year coaching. It was last year, but it was last year. It was gonna be last year, but our other offensive line coach kind of dipped. So the deal was that Coach Rogas Senior, head coach Rogas called him saying, "Hey, come down and kick it out, coach for us." And coach was like, And Coach Rogas Senior is like, "Well, I'll do it if you give me 2 hats." 2 white Canadian Comanche hats. Am I correct? So, again, this is his last year coaching in the 44 years as he has coached. Awesome.
I'm talking about Coach Eller. If you guys don't know me, I'm Cody Briggs. I'm talking about Coach Eller. I'm also known as Twinkie. It's really hard to put into words truly what this season has meant and truly what we've been through, but Coach Eller has a lot to do with our success. Former football coach Jimmy Johnson once said, "Treat a person as he is and he will remain as he is. Treat him as he could be and he will become what he should be." Coach Eller did this. He expected us linemen to be great. He continuously worked with our technique. During the games he would talk about our defensive fronts and blocking schemes. He worked with me snapping with my left hand, and in the middle of the game took the time to pull me aside and work with me on my footwork and blocking assignments when the coaches put me at guard. Coach also had a lighter side to him. He loved bringing up the fact that Amir and Dom may have broke Cole's bed.
Yeah! What is that?
He also liked to remind the linemen there's only one person that could have done a better job than us, and that was John Cena. This year was my first year playing center, and I definitely would not have the success I did without Coach Eller. Coach, thank you for your commitment and dedication to me and all of us linemen. It was an honor to play for you, sir.
Hey guys, I'm Noah White, and I have the honor for speaking for Coach Bud. So Coach Blythe has been with our senior class for 4 years. He's been there supporting us. But throughout his time here, he's taught me one major lesson, and that's just to persevere. Throughout the season, there's just been ups and downs, and he's always been there, always had my back, and he just took the time to listen and get to know each and every player, and that's something really special, and it means a lot to us. And as family, I just want to say thank you for letting me be here, and thank you for giving time from your family to be a part of mine.
Alright, well, I'm back and I brought a friend. So, we have to introduce a very special guest we have in the audience, Pitbull. Coach Nick Heinrich. Alright, well, Heinleigh's really helped me develop to become a player of the game. And this year, I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to have him be my position coach and our defensive coordinator, so I was with him every single day at every single practice. And I mean, all that time together, I've gotten to know him pretty well. I owe him a pizza, so I lost a bet. It sucks. And well, he's one of the only coaches that him and I kind of have the same mentality. You just got to dominate the other team all game long until they give up. It's basically just a battle of will. And there's one thing that I'll never forget is the mad dog face he gives in the pregame. It's scary the first time, it's funny the second. It is pretty cool to see a coach get us fired up as his players, and it brings us to another level, and I think that's why our defense did so well. One of my favorite quotes he's ever said is, "Big time players make big time plays in big time games." And another one is, "We can bend, but we can never break." And that's one of my favorite quotes for a team to have. It means we're always together, and that's one of my favorite things. Last year on the depth chart, it autocorrected my last name to Sutton, and up until I think today was the first time he's called me Subtle in over 2 years. That was kind of nice. Well, I'm blessed to have him be one of my coaches that I get to see every day, and I want to thank you for helping me become a better player and a better person.
Talk about Coach, but me being a defensive player and him being my defensive coordinator, I had to say something because this guy's a badass. Honestly, I'm not a one to admit when I'm scared to face somebody one-on-one on Oklahoma or something like that, but if I had to face this guy when he was in high school, I probably would have just been like, nah, I'm not. But yeah, honestly, the aggressiveness that our defense got this year really came from him when hyping us up, and he really did a lot for our defense. I'm honestly really happy that he was our defensive coordinator. Thank you, Coach Henry.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Coach Ogas, the DB coach, so Coach, come up, please. Holy schmoly, boys. We're a bunch of slappies. Those are just a few things that Coach Ogas would say. 2 years ago, Coach Ogas came to the football program and completely revolutionized Canadian football. And obviously his favorite sayings were holy schmoly and then a little bit of no gain, ro gain. And then when I heard our head coach say some of these things, I could only think of one thing and one thing only. Let this frickin' slappy be our head coach. I've always had the most respect for Coach Ogas, but now I consider him one of my friends. A nice example of this is one time Coach Ogas got added to the football group chat. Once added, I proceeded to say, quote, "What it is, Coach Ogas." He then replied with 3 question marks and left the chat. That's the kind of relationship the team and I had. We were more than just player to coach, we were friend to friend, and that's why overall our team succeeded this year. We had a chemistry as one unit that not many teams can match. Overall, Coach Ogas is a great coach, but also a friend that anyone on this team can trust. Thank you, Coach.
So I just want to say a big thank you to Coach Ogas. I didn't play my sophomore year. I played freshman year, and then I quit sophomore year because I had an issue with the coach. And coming back for me was a pretty big decision, and this is going to sound really bad. But one of the reasons I came back, which in the spring, one of my friends was like, hey, he doesn't condition us that much. I was like, I miss football, why not? I came back, and granted the conditioning got much harder, but thanks to Coach Ogas, I fell in love with football again, and it became part of my life again. And so I just want to say so much thank you to Coach Ogas, because being able to play varsity football has been the best time, probably going to be the best times of my life. So I just want to say thank you, Coach Ogas.
I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. It's definitely past work bad times. For me, Coach Ogas, has a special place in my heart. I don't want to come up here and tell you all the good things he's done for me. I just wanted to talk about all the good things he's done for us, Canyon. I think the biggest thing I always pride myself over is we over me. I'm definitely a team guy. I think the bonds that you make and these sports that you play is the biggest thing that you can take away, at the end of this season, at the end of your life. When Coach Ogas came to Canyon, he said he was one of our many coaches over the past few years. I bleed Canyon. I'm for this school. I love everything about it. So it was like, who's coming into my home? So, when he came, like he said, he sat down with just about all the players. And he says, I'm, Coach Ogas. He goes, I went to Edison, I went to Santa Ana, I played, some college ball, and I tried to make it NFL, but it didn't work out. And I was like, oh, he's from Edison. I said, wow, he looks exactly what a kid from Edison looks like. And then you meet him, and he's just like, shaka, bro, he's just, oh, you really did bring a slappy in here. Lord have mercy, but then you get to know the side that I fell in love with. You get to know the competitor, the guy who wants to give everything to win each game. I think the biggest thing that we have in common is I hate losing. He hates losing. And when you lose, you take it the right way. You learn what you do from your mistakes, and you try to get better for the next week. I think the greatest thing that he ever had was probably one of his lowest moments is when we lost to El Medina, and he came to school the next day. And I was actually in class, and I was seeing him walking back and forth. And then I come out, and he goes, I don't know what to do. He goes, I've never felt this bad. And honestly, it was the greatest feeling having a coach feel as bad as I felt after a loss. And we had a conversation for about 10 minutes talking about the different things we do and different schemes and different ways to approach the game. And it was great having a coach who's a player's coach, who wants to work with each one of us guys and make us better and make the team better, and is willing to do anything it takes, for the team as a whole to get better, play better, and love each other. One of the greatest things he always commends us on is how close we are as a group. We're very close. We all hang out with each other outside of football. We mess with each other all the time, and so does Coach. But at the end of the day, we're here for each other. And, we're here for each other. You can call me anytime you need me. I'm going to be there. Same thing for the coaching staff. Same thing for Coach Ogas. We had our issues and stuff like that, as far as the team, and that happens on every single team. But I would say Coach Ogas did a great job of coming through and saying that at the end of the day, we're a family. You're going to make bad decisions. But families fight, families have problems, but at the end of the day, we're here for each other, and we're going to stick together. And this team, like you said, we've been through a lot. Last year, we started 0-6. We came back, made the playoffs, made the semifinals, lost to a heartbreaker. Came back this year, senior class said, this is our year. We're going to do it. Had a tough start. Obviously, the El Medina loss was a huge loss for us. And we all came in, and we have one of the greatest things I think Coach brought into this program was a square meeting. Square meetings is something where we have before each game, where you can, this is open, just the coaches and the players. You can say whatever you want. So I'm not going to here to tell you exactly what was said, but I'm going to say people poured their hearts out and they showed how much we love this team, and show how important it is to play football. I play basketball. I've done track. I've done it all. I've been very successful. But football is the greatest sport because at the end of the day, it's not going to be the 22 stars who's going to win this game. It's going to be the other 60 people on the sideline. It's going to be all the parents and all the fans involved, and it's going to be the whole community together. That's what makes a great football team. And I think Coach Ogas is installing a great program for Canyon, turning it around in a huge way, in a great way. And I want to say thank you because you came into my home and you made it even better. So.
kids have been through more than I know. I'm not too crazy to know that what happened before I got here was difficult for them. To have 4 head coaches in 4 years is very challenging. So, well, kind of it's 4 because there was one guy that took over for the other guy that stepped down. So, 3 technically, but 4 really, 4 different head coaches over the course of 4 years. And what they went through was very challenging. So for us to come in and put in a new offense, a new defense, a new coaching philosophy, and they bought into it. It took a few weeks last year, but I knew last year, going into this year, we had a special junior class last year. These kids are an amazing group of kids. They're great students, they're great people, they're good leaders, they're ambassadors on campus. I can't tell you how many good emails I get from librarians, other teachers, faculty members, administrators on campus. Coach, so-and-so helped me carry some books to the library. Coach, so-and-so did this for these other kids. Coach, so-and-so stayed after class and helped me deliver this or deliver that. Those are the kind of seniors and those are the kind of student athletes that we have on this team. Like I said, 21 out of 64 of them are on the Scholar Athlete Award list. That's 33% of your varsity roster. Hand in hand did this, really improved a lot. Like I said earlier, this kid really came in and contributed a lot on our punt team. Had a ton of good punts, made some very athletic plays to catch some snaps. The other player had some amazing, like I said, had 70 points from the kicker position. Noah Fernandez and Max Myers.